The sound of the slap cut through the hotel lobby like broken glass, louder than the crystal chandelier above, sharp enough to stop conversations mid-sentence. For a brief, frozen second, the man holding a sleeping toddler against his chest felt something inside him fracture, not his pride, but his hope. The sting on his cheek faded quickly, yet the damage was already done when his daughter stirred. Her small eyes fluttered open, confused, afraid, and then she flinched, as if fear was something she already recognized too well. That single reaction hurt more than the slap itself. Standing there on polished marble floors, surrounded by strangers and whispers, the man felt smaller than he ever had in his life. He had arrived just after midnight, rain-soaked and exhausted after hours on the road, carrying his 4-year-old daughter who had fallen asleep clutching a worn stuffed bear. His jacket was damp, his boots left faint watermarks behind him, and his face showed the kind of tiredness sleep could no longer fix. This hotel, towering, elegant, flawless, had once been his dream, built with the insurance money from his wife's death and years of grinding grief turned into resolve. But that night, none of that mattered. To the people behind the front desk, he was just another worn-down man asking for a room. They stared too long at his unshaven face, his hesitation as he reached for his card, the way he held his child a little too tightly. Suspicion replaced empathy. The manager on duty stepped forward with irritation already hardened into her voice, accusing him of loitering, of causing discomfort, of trying to take advantage. He tried to explain, but exhaustion tangled his words. When he shifted his daughter on his shoulder, her tiny fingers gripping his collar, the manager misread the movement and struck him. The humiliation sank deeper than the rain ever could. No one stepped in. No one spoke up. The lobby felt less like a hotel and more like a courtroom where judgment had already been passed. Years earlier, he had buried his wife after a drunk driver ended her life on a quiet road. Since then, every breath he took was about survival, about shielding his child from the cruelty of the world. If this had been you, standing there with your child in your arms, would you have fought back, or stayed silent to protect them? Stories like this remind us why we share these moments on True Stories, because behind every face is a battle you cannot see. 9 long minutes passed as security escorted him to a bench near the entrance, their hands firm but eyes uncertain, while the manager barked about policy and procedure. He sat there rocking his daughter gently as she whimpered in her sleep, pressing a kiss to her forehead, whispering quiet apologies and prayers without words. His mind drifted through memories. The night spent sleeping in his car to save money, the mornings he awkwardly braided her hair, the way grief had hollowed him out without ever emptying him completely. And then his thoughts settled on the briefcase locked in his trunk, holding documents no one in that lobby would believe. When he finally stood and walked back inside, something had shifted, not anger, not vengeance, but clarity. Calmly, almost softly, he asked for the corporate office phone and verified his identity. The realization moved through the room like a crack spreading through glass. Faces drained of color. Confidence collapsed. Laughter from earlier vanished. One by one, excuses formed too late. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't insult anyone. He simply made a decision shaped by loss and principle. Every staff member involved that night was terminated, not for revenge, but because cruelty had no place in a building meant to offer rest and safety. The silence that followed was heavy, final. His daughter woke fully then, her eyes searching his face, and he smiled, not for them, but for her, letting her know she was safe. In the days that followed, the story spread quietly. Some praised him. Others criticized him. He ignored it all. Instead, he rewrote training manuals, met employees personally, and implemented one simple rule: compassion comes first. Weeks later, he watched his daughter laugh while chasing fireflies in the hotel garden, feeling something unfamiliar settle in his chest, not happiness, but hope. The world had hurt him deeply, but it hadn't won. Life rarely delivers justice wrapped neatly. More often, it tests us when we are tired, exposed, and carrying the weight of someone we love. The real question is not what happens to us, but who we choose to become. If this story moved you, made you reflect on dignity, restraint, or kindness, let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if stories like this resonate with you, support true stories by liking, sharing, and subscribing, because sometimes a single story can remind us all to be human.